June is underway, and that means the start of the summer season. Now that Memorial Day's in the rearview mirror, in this week's edition of the Climate Friday newsletter, we're going to talk summertime heat and how it may be becoming a little more common and also more intense. This week, we logged our first 90-degree day of the year, and that's something you're going to see a whole lot of in that 10-day forecast. Thanks for joining us this week, whether it's on YouTube, WTOL.com, or on our streaming services, WTOL 11+. Good to have you with us. We've got new Climate Friday content each and every Friday, so let's break down the science of 90-degree heat and how summertime heat may be growing more common and also more intense. This week, we logged our first 90-degree temperature readings of the season. Our first came on Tuesday, the 30th of May, and we also got another one on Thursday. That tally is going to continue to go up, and if you're watching this on Friday or even Saturday, by the end of the weekend, that number is going to be up to 4. Now, 90s are not inherently caused by climate change. They've always occurred and always will occur. In a typical year, we see 19 days that are at or above 90 degrees. Of course, most of those happen during June, July, and August, so we've still got quite some time to rack up the days. Last year, we had 23 days over that 90-degree threshold, and the record, those of you living around here in 88, remember that one, there were 43 days in the 90s over the course of that year. We got our first one that occurred on Tuesday towards the end of May. Getting 90-degree heat in May, it's a little bit harder to come by than it is during the official summer months. So what role does climate change play in summertime heat? Well, not only is the heat becoming a little more common, but it's becoming more intense. In other words, we're really pushing that triple-digit mark as 90s become more commonplace. Now, summer is getting warmer overall. In the past decade alone, scientists have observed a 2-degree warming trend, and that is specific to Toledo, and that's a trend that is likely noticed across much of the country. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association, every 10 years, they redo the normals based on what the thermometers have reported. In the past decade, we've seen a 2-degree uptick in our summertime temperatures, and that is largely due to climate change. So what does the new normal mean? Well, our high temperatures actually top out impressively high. July is our hottest month of the calendar year, statistically speaking, and by the middle of July, our normal high is 87 degrees. That makes you realize, hey, 90 degrees isn't that much above average. That is one of the main reasons 90-degree heat is becoming more commonplace, because within the new normal in the realm of climate change, 87 is just an average day in the middle of the month of July. Now, temperatures are also becoming warmer for a longer duration of time, and that's something that's really been noticeably observed with longer streaks of 85 degrees or warmer. That is another threshold that is quite warm, and this is specific to Toledo. Back in the 1970s, we didn't see quite as long of stretches, and even though there is some year-to-year variability with this one, the overall trend line shows you that 85-degree days are getting warmer and 90-degree days are also getting warmer. Looking at data over the last 50 years, starting off in 1970 and ending in 2021, the overall trend line shows you a 13-degree increase in the annual number of 90-degree days. That is something that's almost doubled since 1970. Back then, you'll see on the y-axis there, we only averaged around 10 days over that 90-degree threshold, and now we have nearly doubled that. You'll notice even though there is some year-to-year variation caused by shifts in the jet stream, the overall trajectory has headed up. In addition to the heat, we are seeing increased drought, and rainfall is a little bit harder to come by, in part due to climate change. Now, looking back at the month of May, we are officially going to go down in the history books as the 6th driest that has ever occurred. We couldn't even muster up a single inch of rainfall during the entire month, only coming in at 9/10 of an inch of rainfall during the month of May. That makes it the driest May that has occurred since the Dust Bowl era. You have to go almost a century back to 1934 to find another May that is as dry as the one that we just experienced. We've gone on a long trajectory of rain-free days, and as of this recording, that is 12 days without a drop of rainfall. If you're watching this on Friday, that'll likely be day 13, and that may continue into the weekend. Again, only 9/10 all of May, and that was the 6th driest on record. Now, the WTOL 11 weather team is keeping a close eye on potential drought conditions. Now, right now, it is not considered a drought, but the latest data does show abnormally dry conditions. That is the yellow color you see on this map across all of southeast Michigan and northwest Ohio. That means, hey, drought is possible if this weather pattern doesn't turn a little bit wetter with rain chances in that 10-day forecast. Now, overall, May should have been a wetter month. Statistically, it is our #1 wettest month of the year with almost 4 inches of rainfall and an average high of 73. So how did this May fare? Well, rainfall was obviously well below normal at 9/10 of an inch. Now, interestingly enough, our average May high temperature was spot on to normal. Even though climate change says, hey, we are getting warmer on average, that's not to say every month is going to be warmer, and we were right where we should have been for May temperatures. What about the stretch of dry days that we are currently on 12 days in a row without a drop of rainfall? It's not entirely unprecedented, as we've gone long spells without any rainfall. You'll notice from 1988, 1903, a variety of years, each featuring 2 weeks or more without any rainfall. Also recapping the month of May, even though we averaged where we should have been, it did feature a roller coaster of temperatures, including 91-degree heat, all the way down to frosty morning time temperatures of 36 degrees. In other words, even though on paper, hey, this May was average temperature-wise, that doesn't tell the full story because we saw some significant temperature swings during this month. So now that we kick off the month of June, what can you expect for June? And will we see any changes in the weather? There's 3 that I want to take note of, 3 changes that you can expect in June. Now, normally, June is the peak of our severe weather season, and severe weather frequency rises. Of course, severe weather is not really a good thing, but it does come with some rainfall, and we may see some thunderstorms by the middle of June as we finally get a little more moisture and humidity. Number 2, meteorological summer. For many folks, Memorial Day is the unofficial start of summer, but meteorologists start that summer season on June 1st, a nice 3-month chunk of time, including all of June, July, and August. So summer season officially here, at least according to meteorological summer. And last but not least, our average high temperature surpasses 80 degrees. Again, those 90-degree days we talked about earlier are becoming more commonplace. June 1st, our average high is 79, and by the end of June, our average high is 86, and in July, that is our hottest month of the year, we top out at 87 for our average high temperature. Heat and drought becoming more common in part due to climate change, and that WTOL 11 weather forecast, well, it's going to stay awfully sunny and dry for the duration. Tune in next Friday. Potentially could round the corner and get some more wet weather into the forecast. And we have new content. Subscribe to the Climate Friday newsletter for new stuff each and every Friday.